Coach, UCF brings back Scott Frost.
Yeah,
hey, what do you make of that move? And B, what kind of learning curve do you think he's up against as he reacclimates to the Big 12?
Now, I remember Coach Frost as the offensive coordinator at Oregon, and he steps on a Cedar Hill practice field recruiting Damian Hobbs in 2012. I'm a huge fan of him. I was a huge fan of him as a player. Absolutely, ultimate tough guy and team guy, and had so much success at UCF. I see them walking around, and he's got some dudes. They got some great length and some really, really good-looking football players. I have a feeling that he has a good feel for that area of the country and how he'll recruit. And I think sometimes, too, whenever you step away, you get a different look. You also get a different hunger. I imagine he's got a chip on his shoulder to prove that he's still a really good coach and can coach at a high level.
Coach, you got a couple new coaches in the conference this year, including Scott Frost.
Yeah.
What kind of learning curve do you think a guy like Scott Frost will have come back to the Big 12?
I've known Scott since he stopped playing in the NFL and was back in Nebraska when I was working there with Frank Solich. And, he's an outstanding coach. He's been at the Power 5 level. He was at UCF and an American. I'm sure there's a little bit of getting up to speed, but I know like Mike Dawson, one of his assistants, was with us last year. He's got a reference of guys that I think he's too good a football coach not to get themselves acclimated pretty quickly, and he'll do a fine job.
Coach Trace Trelko, Sons of UCF. I cover Scott Frost. What's one piece of advice you would give Coach Frost coming back into the Big 12?
Shoot, I don't know. Scott's done very well. The last time he was at that place, they won about 15 games. That may be an exaggeration. 13, 14, they had a good year. Scott can probably handle that himself. I listened to him, visited with him a little bit in Orlando. One thing he did do is, when we were in Orlando at the meetings, when you have those functions, business meetings, they have like big desserts all over the place. And there was this huge cookie, like this big and like that thick, and had all the kind of frosting on it. And I know I do this. You see people like when they just like take part of it because they're like, I'm not going to eat all this. And he just took part of it and he ate it. Then he took the other part and he ate it. And by the time the meeting was over, he ate the whole cookie. So after that, I said, Scott, you might as well just commit early and take the whole cookie and eat the whole thing. I said, you did what everybody else does. You're still young enough you can do it. That'd be the only advice I have for him.
Alex Grinch is his defensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. He was at Oklahoma. Any memories of having faced Oklahoma with him as DC?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we went against him for a number of years, yeah. And then, of course, he went out to SC for a while. But guys understands football, is a good coach, been around a long time. I haven't watched him as close lately. Obviously, he's been out west. But we have a lot of familiarity with his style.
Coach Trace Trelko, Sons of UCF, cover Scott Frost, both you and Coach Frost returning.
Yeah, how about
jobs.
that? Is
there a piece of advice that you've been given that you think might work for Coach
I
Frost?
should ask him that. Scott and I both kind of made a similar path, and I'm sure he'll tell you the same thing. It usually doesn't happen this way. Usually you never go back to your original place or what have you, and there's a lot of things got to fall in place right at the same time, whether it's fate or destiny, I don't know. But for me it was 18 years and it happened. For Scott it wasn't quite that long, but he's a great football coach and a great person, and I wish they didn't hire him. I wish they had hired somebody crappy, you know what I mean? But he'll do a great job there, and they'll have a good football team.
Do you think of it as a sequel of sorts, or a new beginning?
I think it's, I try not to be too nostalgic because it's so long ago, and I'm a better coach than I was then. I better be, right? And things have changed. The dynamic's different now than it was back then. But at the same time, I understand West Virginia, and there's no school that I could go to where I know where all the bodies are buried and the traps are laid. I know where everything and everybody is in the state of West Virginia. I know how important it is, and it didn't take me, months to learn the lay of the land. It took me minutes. So that for me, that's the only school in the country I could go to, and that could have that kind of dynamic.
Now that we're on Back to the Future, Scott Frost also coming back to the conference. What do you think about him coming back to UCF?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's cool for him to be able to get another opportunity to get back into, where he had a tremendous amount of success there at UCF. Obviously a really good coach, does things the right way. I think, it's a good fit there at Central Florida. So, I think, man, there's a lot of talent right around Orlando. So you'll be able to recruit at a high level, be able to get players in there. But it'll be fun competing against him. But that's one of our, I think, top rivals in the Big 12 that we get to compete against each and every time. I mean, and it's fun. It's fun to compete against those guys. And so this year will be the same. They get to come back to Cincinnati this year. So we're looking forward to that competition.
Coach Trey Strelko, Sons of UCF, cover Scott Frost.
Yep.
What's one piece of advice you would give him about Big 12 play?
Oh, well, Scott doesn't need any advice from me. I mean, look, last time he was at UCF, he won every game he coached. So he's got it figured out, I promise you. Scott's the right guy for that job. He's proven he can win there. He'll do a tremendous job. Like I said, he doesn't need any advice from me.
Coach Trey Strelko, Sons of UCF, cover Scott Frost. What's one piece of advice you would give him as he comes back to UCF?
Scott Frost has been doing this longer than I have. I've known Scott a long time. We've known each other since we were both young assistant coaches, and I think I'm excited to see what Scott does there. He's a good football coach. He's a good dude. I think it's going to be great for him. He's returning to a place that he knows, so I think that familiarity of it, and I think it's been said a lot today, but the exciting thing about this conference is that there's parity in this thing and anyone can win it. And I think that's what's something that is unique about the Big 12, and everyone's excited about that.
Coach, just talking with Scott Frost about being back in the Big 12, what's one piece of advice that you'd give him about today's Big 12?
Oh, he already knows ball. I mean, you can see it on film. I think a lot of people will say just be ready for the physical play, but Scott understands that. He knows that. I mean, look, you see how big he is and his style of play. That guy is an amazing quarterback and was really physical. So he understands the game better than a lot of people think.